This is Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. Here's your host, Mark Neuse.
Good morning and welcome to the program. I'm Mark Neuse, and our special guest today is Chuck Gehring, the president and CEO of Lifecare Alliance. And Chuck comes in every year, maybe a couple of times a year, and gives us an update on all of their programs at Lifecare Alliance, including the Meals on Wheels program. And you're going to need some volunteers to deliver meals.
Yes, and we need them all year long, let me tell you, because people are busy, and then we have snowbirds going places and things like that. We lose some of our volunteers. We're kind of desperate. We are, if people don't know this, we're 86% right now above pre-COVID levels in home delivered meals.
Wow.
Almost double. Think through this for a minute. And so while we have more volunteers than we have had pre-COVID, the number of routes have gone up so much, we're just desperate to get the meals out every day. And we're really the only ones in the top 100 markets nationally still taking people without waiting lists. So if you're in Cincinnati, Toledo, or Cleveland today, you've probably got 1,500 people ahead of you to get even started on Meals on Wheels,
Wow.
whereas we take everybody, start you the next day. Always have done this. As a result, we lose money this year, but that's life, and that's why we're here. We're supposed to be serving people, so we're doing that. So we're really desperate as you get into the snowy months of January and February. A lot of people, maybe we have volunteers who are older themselves and they can't get out, and so we always need your help. We've also found that a number of the companies that have helped us over the years, we had probably as many companies as any city in the country had helping, and they're not back in the office still yet.
Yeah.
So that's been an issue, and people try to do it out of their houses, which is fine, but then we lose that downtowny inner city area and stuff. So whatever you can do it in your neighborhood. You don't have to come to us. We come to you to get you the meals in your suburb and or in the outer counties where you may be listening now on the stronger signals of the station. So know that we also need you in Madison, Champaign, Logan, and Marion counties, just to name a few.
Before we go any further, if someone is out there, they say, I'd like to volunteer, what do they need to do?
They just go, the easiest way, if you can, is go on lifecarealliance.org, our website, and click on volunteering. You can enter your name and phone number, and we will call you and go from there. If you just want to call us, though, you can call the main number, 614-278-3130, and just say, hey, I want to talk to somebody about volunteer opportunities, and they'll hook you up during business hours. And if not, they'll call you back the next night or day or whatever to get you going.
And if you want to grab a pen, if you want to write down the name of the website and the phone number, we will give those again during the course of the program. President and CEO of Lifecare Alliance, Chuck Gehring, is here. And so if somebody calls that number or they go on your website and they sign up to volunteer, what happens next?
Well, you have to be trained, which doesn't take long. And we actually have online training, of course, now that COVID hit. And you can watch a video. We love for you to come in person, though, just so you can ask questions and think like that. But we train you quickly, and you also sign a volunteer form that says you're going to do this, and we have to run at no cost. There's no cost to the volunteer for any of this. We run a background check because we can't have axe murderers going into people's houses.
Yeah.
So you think that's funny. Okay, well, I don't. But we have to do a quick background check. There's no problem to you. It's no big deal to you, and there's no cost to you. But we have to do that. That's federal requirements and things like that, and it's just common sense. So we do that. You get trained, and then you're pretty much ready to go. And then you need to know the difference in the meals that are in the bag. We do not just give everybody the same meal. There are specialty diets out there, and we have everything from mechanical soft, pureed, and kosher to deal with, along with diabetic meals and things like that. But they're labeled. We just want you to know, and then you get used to your route. Your route's everybody has GPS anymore, but they will come with instructions if you want those. And especially if you're doing it in a part of town you're not familiar with. But most people do it around their houses. So they're kind of familiar with the streets and stuff. You just didn't know that there was a person maybe living in a house who was 90 years old and in need. And so you get to learn all that. But you can go wherever you want. You can take your kids with you. You can take a dog with you. Just keep them away from the food. Your friends and relatives come to visit you, and you're trying to figure out what to do, and you've already been to the wild lights at the zoo, so you gotta, or the Franklin Park Conservatory. So what do I do with these people? So you can go out. All the meals are delivered at lunchtime, so you're in the light, and you can see where you're going, because obviously it gets dark at 5 o'clock around here, and it's hard to see house numbers. But you can, everything goes out at lunchtime. It takes anywhere from an hour to 2 hours to deliver a route, depending on what you want. And the routes have gotten a little longer. I'm not going to kid you, because we've got so much volume right now. And but you go out and have fun with them, and it's a great thing to do. And it's you can take your kids with you, your grandkids, and people just love doing it together. And it's a lot of fun for them.
Yeah.
And we are the last group in the state doing weekends and holidays. No one else does weekends and holidays anymore because of money, but we do. So we'll be delivering throughout all the holidays where we go, and all the weekends. So if you can only got a Sunday for us, we'll take you.
And it isn't just the meals, but that's for a lot of these people, it's the only socialization they get is to see someone come to their door with their food.
Yeah, I think half the service is checking in on people. And sometimes, so you know, with COVID, because of this volume, we've increased the number of frozen meals, which gives our people a lot more choice, but they only get delivered once a week. So you actually take them in. It's almost like you're taking a cooler into a house, loading up their freezer, but you're checking on the people. So their relatives know, and if they're getting a hot meal, every day somebody's going to their door and handing them the meal and checking on them. And that's a great luxury for their family members who know that somebody's looking at them every day. Mm-hmm. So I like the hot meals better than the frozen meals, but some people like frozen because they have more choice that way. They have total choice, really. And but you're checking on the person. And we do find every now and then people are in distress, and that's part of your training, but it's not hard. You call 911, you wait for them to show up. Is basically what happens, and you call us and we take it from there for you. So it's not a problem, but we do obviously find people who, whatever, are in distress or just don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And but we take over from you, and we'll take care of them, and everything's okay.
Chuck Gehring is here, the president and CEO of Lifecare Alliance, and we always like when he comes in and gives us an update on all of the programs that Lifecare Alliance is responsible for, but especially the Meals on Wheels program. And I know, Chuck, that the cost of food is up for everyone. Yeah. I'm sure it's up for you and your organization. But, when you go to the grocery store, for a lot of people, it's a struggle, especially people that don't make a lot and they're on fixed incomes. So that probably has something to do with the increase in volume that you're seeing.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with the increase in volume we're seeing, because 70% of our clients live on under $1,200 a month income, which is a Social Security check from years ago. And, it went up 3% this year. Social Security is going up 5% next year. I mean, if you go to the store, it's just not the same. We were in a big box store a weekend ago, and I was buying blueberries because I like blueberries, and the $2.99 blueberries are now $6.59. Yeah. So that isn't a 3% increase. And people just can't afford this when you're living on $1,200 a month. It just doesn't work. It does not compute. And we've found a lot of people continue, and this goes before COVID even, but now it's worse. How do I pay my rent, or maybe my house is paid off, but I still got taxes and things.
Sure.
There's things they don't realize they can get homestead exemptions sometimes. We help them with that. But the big thing is, do I buy my medicines this month, or do I buy my food? So the meals program not only gives them a delicious, nutritious meal, because they're all low in fat, sodium, sugar content, a great meal for them to be eating, or 2 meals a day if they qualify for that, but it offsets the cost of them for their other sundry items and their medications. And we found people, we have 2 diabetic service organizations under our umbrella. The Central Ohio Diabetes Association joined us in 2017. We got Diabetes Dayton in 2019. We're finding people watering down their insulin. Maybe they're still injecting themselves. They don't have the pump because the pumps are still expensive and maybe they haven't approached insurance to buy those for them, or watering it down, or maybe they're supposed to take insulin every day, but they take it every third day to save money. Well, that is a disaster waiting to happen. We see other people that are supposed to be on certain medications, including cancer medications and stuff, that they're spreading it out, or they're cutting pills in half because they can't afford it. Again, a disaster waiting to happen. So the meal program does a lot of stuff besides feed you. It checks on you, and it also offsets costs so that you can keep getting your medications. And our average client has 4 diagnoses of some sort.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal. And but the people are, you got to understand, this is not welfare. It's people are living on their own. They're not going, as a result, they live in their own home where they all want to be. And if they have to move to assisted living or nursing home care, you who are listening to this program as taxpayers are paying for it, because it comes through Medicaid that kicks in to pay for it, and that comes out of your federal taxes. And so we save, it's estimated really by ARP, it's not even our number, that our little agency's saving over $2 billion a year in federal taxes because of the fact that Medicaid isn't kicking in to pay for these folks to go to assisted living and nursing home care when maybe they don't have to go yet. They can stay in that house as long as we can keep them in that house, and that's ultimately what we're doing at our place, and keeping them out of homeless shelters. I want to say that too, because a lot of our people are one step in. We're really helping them. But yes, we have routes in New Albany, we have routes in Dublin, we have routes in Arlington, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just people that are aging in place, and that's the key thing, is trying to age in place these days so they can stay there. And if you don't like delivering people food, on the weekends, we have 18 routes right now that do nothing but deliver pet food to people.
Really?
Our clients, because it's the pet care program. It's the number one program Meals on Wheels groups in the country would like to have. All these groups are independent. They're all local, as we are. But we started this years ago because people will give part of their Meal on Wheel to their dog, so that they can keep the dog, which is bad for both parties. And so we get pet food donated tremendously, mostly by our friends at Walmart and other places. And they get to keep that pet, which is, the pet does so much for them. It's incredible. It's we say the pet is the social worker, the depression counselor, and the security system, which they are. I mean, you got some of these little dogs that yap a lot when you go to the door, but that's a great security system for these folks. And it's those pets are key. So you can just deliver pet food on the weekend, and trust me, they love you coming for that. And again, it defrays costs for them, and it's perfectly good pet food. It's in code date, the whole thing, but. It's something. There's only about 8 major cities right now in the country that do a pet care program, because you have to have there's regulations with all this stuff, as you can imagine, because of the food that you're storing. But it's such a great service for people.
Chuck Gehring is here, the president and CEO of Lifecare Alliance. And let's remind everybody again of your phone number and the website address.
Yeah, the website is lifecarealliance.org, just like it sounds. And the main phone number is 614-278-3130. And just call it and say you're interested in learning about volunteering, and they'll hook you up with one of our people, and they'll tell you all about it.
And on the other end of it, if somebody needs Meals on Wheels, how do you qualify for that?
Yeah, well, you call that same number, 278-3130, and I would tell you a lot of our folks do not come through the website because that's a foreign concept to them, and things like that. People think this is income-based. It isn't. If you've got a lot of money, though, you can sometimes do other things, take care of yourself. But it's not income-based, it's need-based, and that is you're assessed on something called Activities of Daily Living, which is a internationally known assessment tool. And you're either assessed by, in this county, we'll just start with here, Franklin County, the city of Columbus, us, or a hospital. Those are your points. So about 20% of the new clients are coming out of a hospital. And the hospital assesses you and says, boy, you're going home, you don't have any help, you've been in the hospital. You can be in the hospital for a week without trying hard, which means you don't really have a lot of fresh food in your home. Your bread's gotten moldy and stuff. So we can take you here, believe it or not, and start you the day you go home. So the hospitals know to call us on day one, knowing they're going to send you home on day two, and we show up with food and you're ready to go, and you don't go back into the hospital then, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So it's really need-based, and activities of daily living are really things like, can you drive? Can you go to the store physically? Can you dress yourself? Can you bathe yourself or shower? And then it drills down farther if you're in worse shape or worse issues, things like, can you transfer from a bed to a wheelchair? Can you transfer from a wheelchair to a toilet? Things like that. And depending on whether you can do those things or not, you get in. Yeah. And if you can't. And so it's really need-based. But 70% of our folks live on under $1,200 a month. Now, we do have some people who have great financial resources in town who just need the service, and they get the service too. We just ask them to help pay for it. Whereas most of our people, I would tell you, don't pay anything for this service to us. We're basically, it's a free deal because, again, most of the people don't pay. But if you can't afford to pay, then we ask you to help, and they do help. But it's most people, you qualify, though, it's not money-based, it's need-based.
Mm-hmm. Do you still have the dining centers?
Oh, yeah. 30 of them floating around. And they
up to 30.
Well,
wow.
it was 40 before COVID.
Okay.
Okay. And we're up to 32, I think, is the exact number across multiple counties. But what they do, they are generally in the buildings where seniors and medically challenged individuals live. We're one of the few in the country to take medically challenged people who are under age 60, but assess out in needing this service. Maybe they have a heart problem or a lung problem, or they have muscular dystrophy or whatever it might be, multiple sclerosis, whatever it might be. And so the dining centers are in buildings where people live, and they can just ride down in the elevator and they get a meal, and then also they get socialization because they're not eating the meal by themselves. So yesterday, in fact, recently I was at the E.L. Evans Center, which is in Grove City, which is their senior center there, and they had about 250 people in there. But we have dining centers in St. Stephen's, up in the Linden area. We have it up in the north. I mean, any end of town, Whitehall, Upper Arlington, you name it, we got a dining center someplace. And you can come in or you can just ride down. Downtown, we're in Nazareth Towers, we're in J.C. Arms, et cetera, et cetera. And they're just places for people. Not only do they get the meal, but they get to see other people. And we have a coordinator there who helps them. They play games, or they have activities. They meet other people. A lot of our people have met people on the routes over the years, and they call them at night and they talk on the phone. And that's still the preferred way of communication for a lot of these folks. And, texting is not their thing. And so they go from there, and they really get that really enlivens their lives, or we show them how to email, and they can email their grandkids 5 states away, and that keeps them pretty busy. So we go from there.
You've started several sentences with the words, "We're the only ones in the country who still do this, who still do that." How is it that Central Ohio, your agency, can keep up this pace?
Well, it's simple and complicated. It's you have to do a few things. One is you have to have a lot of volunteers, because if we don't have volunteers, you have to pay drivers. And while many are part-time drivers, they're hard to find. And as you can imagine, delivering at lunchtime, but we have to pay more drivers, which puts you in the hole. As soon as if you don't have a lot of volunteers, we probably have as high a volunteer rate as there is in the country for a big city. Secondly, you got to fundraise like crazy people, and a lot of these programs have lived off the government programs that send you money. Well, they don't cover it. We run out of our federal money. Yeah, I can tell you in 2024, we're going to run out of the federal Title III Older Americans Act money probably in June.
Yeah.
And that's for the year. We ran out of it in Logan County after 3 months this year.
Wow.
I mean, it's not there, and it's not going to get any bigger. The county senior levies, which you vote for, thank you very much, really kick in. And the County of Franklin especially is super with this. They do a super job, so they help us. But you got to fundraise to supplement this. It just doesn't cover it. It just doesn't happen. And none of us are making huge salaries or anything like that. Don't think that. So you got to do those things, and then you got to have a little money in the bank. When I started there 22 and a half years ago, we didn't have much money in the bank, and we've tried to increase that through estate gifts and things like that over the years. So those are some of the big things. But the other big thing that you have to do, I believe in, is we've done mergers over the years, which has made us more efficient, allowing more services to people. We're now do the arthritis services for Central Ohio. That started about a year and a half ago. That was a need here in Central Ohio, but we have cut back. So there's only one of me, for example. There's only one accounting department. There's only one human resource department as opposed to multiples. Yeah. But another big one is called social enterprise or social entrepreneurship, which is a thing that came out in the 80s. And we are a big practitioner of this. And that is, can we have a for-profit piece to our charity organization, our nonprofit charity, that brings in money? So we do a few things. The big two are catering. We have LA Catering, which has a couple weddings every weekend. It has corporate events. We've got a corporate event today. We got one tomorrow I'm speaking at. And that brings in, the profits from that don't go to me. I'm just an employee. Nonprofits don't have an owner other than the state of Ohio, really, if you're in the state. So the profits don't come to me. They go in. Catering will pay for about 700 people this year to get meals for the whole year, believe it or not. Wow. So we cater around. And then the other one is corporate wellness, which we do because we're the visiting nurses of Central Ohio and have always done that. And we have a number of organizations here. We do all of White Castle. We do all of Grange Insurance, some others. And we're running around right now doing a program called Don't Let the Holidays Get You Stuffed, which we charge people for. But it's in corporations, and they pay us to keep their people healthy because, healthcare costs are also crazy right now. So it's just difficult to get people through. And so we do things to bring in money. Like we do the books for like 3 other organizations. We do the accounting for them. We do background checks for other organizations, things like that, and charge. It's cheaper doing it through us, and we make a few bucks. And all that, you cobble all that together, and you have an agency.
Yeah. How many employees do you have now?
About 250, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But still about 120 of the 250 are part-time.
Yeah.
And they're drivers. We have 150-ish routes a day going out just on the meal side, forgetting the Columbus Cancer Clinic, the diabetic organizations, et cetera. And so we employ some people that are part-time. And if you need a part-time driver job, if you ever go past our building on Harmon Avenue, 670 Harmon, you will see a big sign out in front of it that says, "We're hiring drivers."
And you actually have like trucks that take the meals out to the people who then drive them to the homes.
So the meals all come out of a building at 670 Harmon Avenue, and which we've had since '07. And we have 2 buildings on Mound Street. We're kind of down by the old Cooper Stadium where the Clippers used to play. And what happens is, if let's say you're delivering in Dublin today, you don't come to that building. You go to a control point in Dublin, which is always generally a church parking lot. Sometimes we got a couple fire stations, we got a couple whoever doesn't charge us to use their property. And you're pre-trained. You show up at a time that's appointed. And you can, when you're a volunteer with us, you can actually go on our website. You can't do it just to sample it. You got to have the secret passcodes and things. But you go in and you can see the routes that are open for the next 6 weeks. And you just go in and say, "Oh, I'll take that one because I like that one in my neighborhood," or whatever. And then, so it's easy to sign up. You can pick that day. We start every morning 10 to 15 routes without anybody to take them. So we have to get those filled every day. And it's if not you, it's us. And we do that, but you can go in. But if you're in Dublin, the meals would come out to you. You're probably meeting them at a church parking lot at a certain time, maybe 11:15 a.m. or whatever the time is. The driver of our van hands you your bags and your route sheet, and off you go. And when you're done, you drop them back off at the church parking lot. So if you're delivering in Dublin, as an example, you never leave Dublin.
Yeah.
You never leave New Albany. You never leave Arlington. You never leave the east side. You come to our building if you're going to deliver on the west side or the south end usually, because we're on the southwest side of town. But and obviously, if you're in an outer county, you don't come to us because you wouldn't come to us. So we have to bring them to you. So we spider out the routes, and we call it a spider web out of the routes. And that way the people can get them. It makes it easy for you. So you really don't drive a long way. And you're just driving around, and it's interesting for people because you're driving around your neighborhood and finding out these people are living in your neighborhood that you didn't know live there because they don't come out of their house much.
Yeah.
But it's you're doing a great thing, and they love seeing the kids. They just welcome you to their house, and it's a safe thing to do to go into these houses, believe it or not. And a lot of times you don't go in; they'll meet you at the door. But they're very excited to see you.
So if you can give some time to help some people out, deliver some meals with the Meals on Wheels program through Lifecare Alliance, they would love to have you volunteer. They need the volunteers. So again, Chuck, if someone wants to volunteer, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, and we're kind of desperate, so we need you right now. So come out and try it. You can do 1 day a month, 1 day a year. You can do 5 days a week. You can do whatever you want to do. But call 278-3130, 278-3130. That's area 614. And or you go to lifecarealliance.org and click on volunteer opportunities. And you'll see there's other things to do other than Meals on Wheels. You can pack meals in our kitchens. You can work the front desk at the Columbus Cancer Clinic. There's all kinds of cool stuff you can do. Mm-hmm. But the big one is delivering meals, and that's where we need most of you. And we appreciate everybody in Central Ohio stepping up over the years to help us out.
Well, you can do it on a full-time or part-time basis. They would love to have you. Again, it's the Lifecare Alliance. It's the Meals on Wheels program for Central Ohio, and their president and CEO, Chuck Gehring, has been our guest today. Chuck, always good to see you, and hopefully you'll be back on the program again soon.
We will be. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks for listening to Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. You can send questions or comments about today's show to Columbus Concerns in care of this station, 1458 Dublin Road, Columbus 43215. Or email us at columbusconcerns@napcomedia.com.
I'm Tiffany Haddish.
And I'm Marlon Wayans. African Americans are 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer than any other racial or ethnic group.
When you or someone you love is facing a pancreatic cancer diagnosis, access to cutting-edge treatment can help make long-term survival possible and improve future patient outcomes.
That's why Stand Up to Cancer and the Lust Garden Foundation have teamed up to bring over 30 pancreatic cancer clinical trials to those who need them.
Learning all you can about pancreatic cancer, including treatment options and what clinical trials are available, can give you or a loved one even more than hope. It can help make long-term survival possible.
For more information about the latest pancreatic cancer research and clinical trials near you, visit pancreaticcancercollective.org.
Food. Our survival relies on it. Yet every day in Central Ohio, nearly 1 million pounds of it enters the landfill. That's a lot of food, natural resources, and money being wasted. The meals on our plates require a lot of energy, water, and land to grow, harvest, and prepare. And we rely on a healthy planet to provide that. When we choose to throw food away, we're choosing to discard all the resources that were invested along the way, not to mention the money that's being tossed out. But together, we can make choices that make a difference in our community and protect our environment. In fact, there are a lot of small changes that we can each make to reduce our waste, like saving our leftovers, properly storing our food, and composting. Learn more about what you can do to reduce your food waste at home, at work, at school, and in your community at SaveMoreThanFood.org, a program of SWACO.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheSkin.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.